What's up guys, Hades here. I just want to welcome you to the biggest KvK ever. I think it's the biggest by quite a wide margin. I'm going to introduce you to all the major alliances and servers that are participating, and then we're going to walk through some of the main mega whale marches, what they look like, and how I think everyone stacks up. So let's jump into it. With the number 1 alliance power ranking, we have Meow, server 136 with 1.1 billion power. IMPK Knights on 231 with just under a billion power. VA is 38, which is my server, with 981 million. Hungry Kitties on 209 with 952 million. Snuggle Cubs on 73 with 922 million, and Hakuna Matata on 56 with 845 million. Now those are the 6 major ones with some huge whales, but there are still lots of big players on some of these other smaller ones as an alliance. Game On has a few with 600, Sky has a few. This is the top server. Their secondary alliance at 570, which is still quite high. SF on 170 at 550, and then a lot of these just become secondary teams. Now for the part you've probably all been looking for: who has the biggest marches, who has the most big marches, who has all the Apollos, and what are we looking for? I'm gonna break down a bunch of these just so you guys can see. I'm gonna come out with as much KvK content as possible. Just giving you a look here, just how many Meow players there are on the top, right? So we have the 2 top dogs, but then there's IMPK, Milk, Meow, IMPK, VA. There's 8 players with 1 million, almost 9. He probably could if he wanted. IMPK, SF, Meow, IMPK, Meow, 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 Meow. A lot of Meow. Bunch of HKs here. HK, and yeah, a lot of Meow here too. And remember, these, like, just because they're ranked 30 doesn't mean they're weak at all. I've had a KvK with Icy Coffee, and he was a problem. This is definitely one of the best players in terms of making good builds. So let's look at those top builds. At the number 1 slot, I believe a lot of them look like this, with Ares maxed out completely, Knife Through Butter, Iron Curtain, Wind Rage. They're trying to double proc Wind Rage with the Knife Through Butter, and this just keeps you alive, and it can only go on physical attackers. It's the new skill. Then we've got, obviously, maxed out Fountain of Life, maxed out life protection, maxed out abilities, very standard. We've talked about this many times. And this is going to be pretty much the exact same thing on all the mega whales. They pretty much copy each other, and then they just change the auras based on like what they're fighting. This one has Apollo. A lot of people like Energy Mastery with Coercive. There is no one exact perfect way to make him. Some people like to do this. I think the barrier, this barrier against Ares is not as good anymore because of Frighten. It reduces the immunity control effects, right? So this is probably the correct way to build if the opponent has an Ares, right? He does not have Ares. He's using Wukong with almost the same setup. Every mega whale is using Knife Through Butter. So if you ever wondered how good Knife Through Butter is, that's the reason. It's pretty broken. You pretty much need it. Another team, no Knife Through Butter on this one. This is another pretty strong way to play. Last Stand plus Battle Frenzy counters Apollo. Another 1 million. This one's not quite as like mega, but it's still very strong. It still has the level 8 Knife Through Butter, all the level 8 skills. Like, this is a team that you're not going to beat unless you're spec'd perfectly for it, right? All the level 8 best skills, no matter what element you're using, is going to be very, very strong. And I actually think this is a team that pretty much anyone can get as long as you are willing to go for the legendary skills, right? Pretty interesting that that could be 1,000,000, which I didn't realize was possible. Another Apollo team. This one went even deeper. Battle Frenzy on the Apollo, which is interesting because this only activates when you ult, and the new Knife Through Butter is going to make it so you don't ult very often. So I think this meta is very weird. I actually think it's going to change over time. We'll see kind of what team comes out on top. This one is going with Wukong, Knife Through Butter, and Last Stand, and Battle Frenzy on the Anubis, which is interesting. And they're still choosing to do Fighting Master. I think most of the whales at some point are going to drop the Fighting Master. It doesn't help much. Yeah. I've played with Mocha before. Yeah, he doesn't have it. Obviously, level 8. Yeah, pretty standard. Lawan has everything pretty standard. And you're going to notice that pretty much every person in the top is going to have level 8 main carry, and then they're going to have a supporting cast that allows their carry to do all the damage. And that's pretty much the only way to play at the current moment. Ooh, interesting here. Just stack all the legendary skills, right? This is pretty good. I like this one. The no wind fury is interesting, and then just full damage and then full protection. Just not bad. I kind of like that. This one has Anubis, no Knife Through Butter. So I can already tell you that these marches are gonna lose to the Knife Through Butter teams very hard, like very, very hard. No Knife Through Butter. This is the highest one I've seen with no legendaries, no chaos, no legendaries. Nice job on getting a high power, but again, power doesn't make you strong. It is about well-balanced skills that counter the meta. But yeah, you guys get a kind of a glimpse of what's going to happen here. Now, how this shakes out for fighting is there are 2 Hydro and a bunch of Ember. And what that looks like on the map is cross map. Hydro, Ember, right? When the gates open, we're only going to be able to go into Ostri and Lofar, and they're only going to be able to go to Nordri and Vigrid. So basically, this is going to be a tier 2 or zone 2 KvK. Everyone's going to just sit back and farm and grow, and then everyone's going to fight for 2 weeks in the zone 2 and zone 3. I think people organize that they don't want to like fight the entire time, right? The 30 days or whatever it is just a little too long. So this is kind of the setup. I'm going to be updating you guys as much as I can on all these mega whales and what the fights look like. But if you like these kind of videos, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.